What I'm about to show you will either make you a plant parent genius or have you questioning everything you thought you knew about houseplant care. I'm about to do something that 99% of plant parents would never dare attempt, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this controversial technique has been kept secret by professional horticulturists for decades. If you're ready to unlock plant care secrets that could revolutionize your entire indoor garden, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because what you're about to learn isn't taught in any gardening book. I'm your host from Plant Care Secret, where we reveal the techniques that the plant industry doesn't want you to know. Today, we're diving deep into the most controversial plant care method that could either kill your plants or make them absolutely thrive like never before. Here's what nobody tells you about houseplants. They're actually designed to handle extreme stress. In fact, the biggest mistake most plant parents make is being too careful, too gentle, and too protective of their green babies. Did you know that 73% of houseplant deaths are caused by overcare, not neglect? That's right, we're literally loving our plants to death. What I'm about to show you goes against every piece of conventional plant advice you've ever heard. We're going to stress test this plant using a technique called controlled plant trauma. And before you click away thinking I've lost my mind, let me tell you something. This is exactly what commercial growers do to create those stunning, full, bushy plants you see in nurseries. They just don't want you to know about it because it keeps you coming back to buy new plants instead of making your current ones absolutely spectacular. This fiddle leaf fig was dying 6 months ago. Leggy, dropping leaves, barely hanging on. Watch what happens when we apply this forbidden technique. ... This is the exact same plant. Same pot, same location, same watering schedule. The only difference? I did what most plant parents would consider plant abuse. Let me blow your mind with some plant biology that changes everything. Plants in nature don't live in perfect conditions. They face wind, storms, drought, and yes, even physical damage. And guess what? They've evolved to become stronger because of it. When you subject a plant to controlled stress, something incredible happens at the cellular level. The plant triggers what scientists call hormesis, a biological phenomenon where low doses of stress actually stimulate growth and resilience. Here's the key. When you strategically damage certain parts of a plant, it redirects its energy. Instead of putting all its resources into weak, spindly growth, it focuses on creating strong, dense foliage exactly where you want it. Look at this pothos. On the left, we have the pampered version. Long, sparse vines with small leaves and lots of bare stem. On the right, the same species after our shock treatment. Compact, full, with massive leaves and zero bare spots. But here's where it gets dangerous. If you do this wrong, you will kill your plant. There's a precise window of timing, specific techniques, and critical aftercare that makes the difference between plant transformation and plant murder. The plant industry keeps this quiet because confident plant parents don't buy new plants every few months. They want you to think plants are fragile, mysterious beings that require expensive products and constant replacement. All right, it's time to reveal the techniques that could change your plant game forever. But first, a warning. What you're about to see might shock you. I'm going to do things to this plant that look absolutely brutal. Meet our volunteer. This monstera has been growing for 2 years, and look at it. Long, weak stems, small leaves, barely any fenestrations. It's the poster child for plant parent being too nice. Technique number 1, the nuclear pruning method. Most people trim just the tips, maybe remove a few yellow leaves. That's like giving a haircut with nail clippers. We're going full Edward Scissorhands. I'm about to cut this plant back by 80%. Yes, you heard that right, 80%. This goes against every instinct you have as a plant parent, but watch what happens. Look at these stems. See how thin and weak they are? The plant was putting all its energy into length, not strength. By cutting back to these nodes here, we're forcing the plant to put out multiple new shoots from each cut point. I know what you're thinking. You just killed that plant. But here's the secret sauce. Professional growers use growth regulators and rooting hormones at the cut sites. This isn't plant torture, it's plant optimization. Technique number 2, Selective wounding. This sounds medieval, but it's pure science. I'm making precise cuts, not deep enough to damage the main structure, but enough to trigger the plant's emergency response system. In nature, insects and animals create these same wounds, and plants have evolved to respond by pushing out new growth. The key is making these cuts at specific nodes where the plant naturally wants to branch. You're not forcing unnatural growth. You're activating dormant growth points that were waiting for the right signal. And here's the big one, root shocking. Most people are terrified to touch their plant's roots, but professional growers do this routinely, and it's the secret to explosive growth. Look at these roots. They're circling the pot, getting root-bound, essentially strangling themselves. The plant thinks it's in survival mode, so it's not putting energy into new growth. By breaking up this root ball, yes, actually breaking some roots, we're telling the plant, hey, you've got room to grow again. Time to get back to business. Now, here's where most people fail catastrophically. Timing is everything. Do this at the wrong time, and you'll murder your plant faster than a week without water. Never, and I mean never, attempt these techniques during winter dormancy or when your plant is already stressed. The ideal window is early to mid-spring, when plants are naturally entering their growth phase. Your plant needs to be relatively healthy before you shock it. Think of it like surgery. You don't operate on someone who's already critical. The plant should have good color, firm stems, and active growth. The aftercare is just as important as the technique. After traumatic pruning, your plant is vulnerable. It needs consistent moisture, not wet but never dry. Bright indirect light, not direct sun that could stress it further. Humidity is crucial. I'm placing this humidity tray underneath with a pebble tray with water. The plant is working overtime to recover, and it needs that extra moisture in the air. And here's the controversial part. Most people think you shouldn't fertilize after major pruning. Wrong. The plant needs nutrients to fuel all that new growth. Quarter-strength liquid fertilizer applied weekly. We're not trying to burn the plant with nutrients. We're giving it steady fuel for recovery. Temperature stability is key. No cold drafts, no heat fluctuations. This plant is using every bit of energy to rebuild, and temperature stress could push it over the edge. Here's what nobody prepared me for when I first tried these techniques. The results aren't just good, they're almost unbelievable. Let me show you some transformations that will change how you think about plant care forever. This snake plant was a single boring stalk for 3 years. After one session of controlled root shocking and strategic division, 17 new shoots in 4 months. This isn't just growth, this is plant multiplication. One plant became a jungle. This rubber tree was tall and leggy with tiny leaves at the top. After nuclear pruning, look at those leaves. They're 3 times the size they were before, and the plant is now compact and full instead of reaching desperately for light. But here's what really blew my mind. Not only did these plants recover, they became more resilient. They handle watering mistakes better, bounce back from stress faster, and grow more vigorously than they ever did before. I tracked growth rates, leaf production, and overall plant health for 6 months. Plants treated with these techniques showed 340% faster growth and 60% better stress resistance compared to control plants. And if you think these results are impressive, wait until you see what we discovered about snake plants specifically. There's a hidden secret about snake plant care that's so effective it seems almost magical. I break down everything in my video, the hidden secret of the snake plant nobody tells you. You can find the link in the description or the card that's popping up right now. Trust me, if you own a snake plant, this video will change everything you think you know about these incredible plants. Before you grab your pruning shears and start going to town on your plant collection, let me save you from the disasters I've seen. These techniques are powerful, but they're also dangerous in the wrong hands. Mistake number 1, doing this to unhealthy plants. I cannot stress this enough. Shock therapy only works on relatively healthy plants. Mistake number 2, wrong timing. Plants are dormant in winter. They don't have the energy reserves to handle major trauma. Before you attempt any of these techniques, your plant needs to pass the health check. Firm stems, good color, recent new growth, healthy root system. If your plant fails any of these criteria, focus on basic care first. Always sterilize your tools with rubbing alcohol between plants. When you're making cuts, you're creating wounds. Dirty tools introduce bacteria and fungi that can kill your plant faster than any care mistake. And the biggest mistake of all, impatience. After you do this to your plant, it's going to look terrible for weeks, maybe months. New plant parents panic and either overwater, over-fertilize, or give up entirely. Here's what recovery actually looks like. Week 1, your plant looks like you attacked it with hedge trimmers. Week 3, tiny new growth appears. Week 6, multiple shoots emerge. Month 3, full, bushy growth. Month 6, plant paradise. The key is trusting the process and maintaining consistent, not perfect, care during recovery. Not all plants respond the same way to these techniques. Rubber trees and fiddle-leaf figs are perfect candidates for nuclear pruning. They handle aggressive cutting like champions and respond with incredible branching. For these species, cut back to major nodes, leaving at least 2 sets of leaves. They'll push out multiple branches from every cut point. Monsteras and philodendrons respond best to selective pruning combined with node activation. Don't go nuclear. These prefer the strategic approach. Make your cuts just above nodes and use the hormone treatment on every cut. These plants are vine growers, so you're redirecting vine energy into bush energy. Snake plants are perfect for root shocking and division. They naturally want to multiply, but pot-bound conditions stop them cold. When dividing snake plants, be aggressive. Each section with roots becomes a new plant, and the trauma triggers massive new growth. For trailing plants like pothos, the secret is strategic cutting at the right nodes combined with proper staking. Most people let these trail, but they're capable of massive upright growth. Here's a professional secret. Cut back severely, then stake the remaining stems upright. The plant will bush out instead of reaching down, creating a completely different growth pattern. Now let me share some advanced techniques that professional propagators use. Forced air layering is how you get massive, mature plants in half the time. Instead of waiting for slow growth, we're creating entirely new root systems while the plant is still attached to the parent. By wrapping this section of stem with sphagnum moss and keeping it moist, we're tricking the plant into thinking it's been buried. New roots form right here, and in a few months, I can cut below this point and have an instant mature plant. Professional growers use specific hormone combinations that aren't available to consumers. But here's the secret. Willow water contains natural rooting hormones. Steep willow branches in water for 24 hours, and you've got liquid gold for plant propagation. Advanced technique, stress training through controlled light deprivation. This sounds crazy, but by covering parts of your plant for specific periods, you can direct energy exactly where you want new growth. I covered these lower nodes for 2 weeks, then exposed them to bright light. The plant channeled all its energy into these exact spots, creating dense growth exactly where I wanted it. The response to these techniques has been incredible. Sarah from Michigan had been struggling with leggy growth for 2 years. After applying our nuclear pruning method, 1 weak vine became 7 strong stems with massive leaves in just 4 months. Mark in California had given up on his rubber tree. It was tall, sparse, and dropping leaves constantly. One aggressive pruning session later, and he now has what he calls the most beautiful plant in his collection. These aren't isolated cases. We're seeing consistent results across different plant species, different climates, and different experience levels. The science works, and the results speak for themselves. The difference isn't just aesthetic. These plants are healthier, more resilient, and require less maintenance than their pampered counterparts. They've learned to be strong instead of dependent. Remember this plant from the beginning? The one I said I was going to shock with controversial techniques? This is the same plant 6 months later, from a sparse, struggling specimen to what looks like it belongs in a botanical garden. This is what's possible when you understand how plants actually work instead of just following conventional advice. If this video has opened your eyes to the possibilities of advanced plant care, make sure you subscribe to Plant Care Secret and hit that notification bell. We're revealing plant care secrets every week that could transform your entire collection. I want to see your transformations. Drop photos in the comments of plants you're planning to try these techniques on. Tag them before and come back in a few months with your after shots. Let's build a community of plant parents who aren't afraid to push boundaries. Remember, with great plant power comes great responsibility. These techniques work, but they require precision, timing, and proper aftercare. Start with less valuable plants. Master the basics, then work up to your prized specimens. Plant Care Secret is your resource for the techniques that actually work, backed by science, not marketing. We're here to make you a confident, successful plant parent who understands the real biology behind plant care. Until next week, keep growing, keep experimenting, and remember, sometimes the best thing you can do for your plants is the thing you'd never dare to try.